I mean, that's so idiots to lovers of them. They're like, I love that trope of like, I actually know so much about you, but it's because I hate you. Like, I hate you, and that's how I know you won the wrestling, you almost won the wrestling competition second to only your brother.
Hello, clowns.
I'm Ami.
I'm Yu-Chen, and we're the hosts of Clown Vibes Podcast.
We're two best friends who get together to laugh and discuss a variety of topics.
From all things pop culture to navigating through adulthood as Asian Americans, and more with our own clown spin, of course.
We're so glad to have you here to clown around with us, and we hope you enjoy the episode. What's up, clowns? Today we have such a special episode. Our first guest is here, a TikTok, Instagram, everything creator, the sequel nobody wanted. And I was going to introduce them, but they didn't send in
clown behavior.
And we're a little late to recording, but I will pass it over to you, Fish, to introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm the sequel nobody wanted, aka Fish. I run a TikTok account, I run an Instagram account, and I run a YouTube account, and they are all the same name because I lack much creativity with my names. That's what it is.
Continuity.
That's what it is. It's not because I don't want to come up with another name. It's continuity.
For sure.
I got a DM from them asking if I wanted to be on their podcast, and I was like, oh my gosh, yes, yes. And then I got the little thing, and they were like, great. Do you want to meet at 9 a.m?
Well, actually, it's 8 for me. And 10 for Ami.
I was like. But I'm so excited to be here. I'm so excited to talk about the Hunger Games with you guys. It's not like I haven't been talking about it with every post this last month.
That's actually how I found your account. I have been on Hunger Games TikTok for months and months.
Every
I
episode.
say it on every episode of this podcast, how I cannot get off of Hunger Games TikTok. And I love your videos. I think they're so funny. It's such a good idea because you always want to reread like your favorite books, like fresh, like wipe your mind, read it again. And watching your videos is a great way to like relive it. When I messaged you, I was like, no way they're going to reply. Like, this is a shot in the dark, but I would love for this to happen. So I hope it does. And when you replied, I was shook.
What? No, it's so, I just love talking about books. So literally, like, does not matter. Anytime anyone's like, I was like, hey, like, do you want to talk about this? Yes. Yes, sign me up. Yes, I want to. I've been trying to get my professor to read the Hunger Games. I'll get him. I
can't believe he hasn't.
Send him the podcast app.
I'm going to tell him that.
Say, like, I gave you a little shout out. Now you have to read it.
Hey, like, what's up?
Hi. 5 eyes.
Tell us a little bit about the inception of your account, how you got started, why you decided to read the Hunger Games, all things about you.
So actually, I never meant to have a TikTok account. Like, I never meant to have an Instagram account, and I never meant to have a YouTube account either. Those are all the same statements, but just like number them on like a 1, 2, 3, like 1 being most likely, 3 being least. There you go. That was stupid. But
we get you. 1, I never meant to have a job. Top of the list.
So I never meant to have a TikTok. One of my friends in 2019 started a book talk, and I found it 2020. And I was like watching them, and I was like, you know what'd be really funny? If you did this joke. And I was like, I was texting them. I was like ghostwriting for them. I was like, this is like a really funny joke. Like, you should do like this, like this is like, oh, you should do this with this sound. You should. And eventually she just goes, hey, you can do your own videos. You know that, right? And I was sitting there and I was like, but I don't want to. Why would I want to do that? Who's going to watch my videos? You already have people watching yours. Just let me ghostwrite for you. But she didn't want to do my video ideas because they were very weird.
It was clown vibes.
And take a lot of time, which hasn't changed. But she was like, hey, just make your own videos. And I was like, fine, I guess I will. Because she told me she wasn't going to make any. So I start, and we actually like we used to collab a lot. She doesn't really post anymore, but we're like real life friends. So like I see her
In
in
the
the
real
public, yeah.
world.
So which is something you two are very acquainted with because you have real people
Yeah,
jobs.
but we like also work through the computer, so we're not really meeting in real life either.
Yeah.
So that was the inception of the TikTok account. And then when I had the TikTok account, I was noticing like people reposting my stuff like on Instagram and doing like really, really well.
Mhm.
And I was like, hold on a second. Those are my videos.
Yeah.
I can do that. I should be the one doing that. So I scramble over to Instagram. I don't know why I forgot the name. And I was like, the sequel nobody wanted. I made my own account, and of course, the videos did terrible over there. I guess when you're actually the one posting, they do great on Instagram now. Love the people that follow me over on Instagram, and yeah, I'm doing a YouTube because people wanted the director's cuts for the obnoxiously
Oh.
long Hunger Games series that I had over on my TikTok
Yeah.
because apparently that wasn't enough.
It's not enough. Okay, that's good to know. I'm gonna go watch the YouTube.
And people are like, "We want to watch you watch the movies too." And I'm sitting there, I'm like, "Oh my god, I have to edit watching the movies. Are you kidding?" So,
So what I love about your videos is it feels like we're getting really organic reactions of you live reading. But are you saying
oh,
that, there's some editing and some cutting of the videos when you string them together?
well, definitely because for Mockingjay, I put them all together, 88 minutes. 88 minutes. So for your sake, yes, there's some editing.
Do you just record yourself for the whole time and then cut later, or like what's your process on deciding like when to film when you're reading?
So when something important happens, I have my it's really funny because when people like come in to my dorm when I'm like recording these videos, they see like a tripod like pointed right at my bed, and they're like,
That could only mean two things.
"What's going on here?" So what I do is I put my tripod camera like right over my bed, and then I'm like reading right here, and the tripod camera's like right near my face. So when something important happens, I go, yeah, oh my god, you'll never believe what happened. Even though you definitely will, because you've read this before me.
That's A plus acting. Amanda and I tried to film like a day in the life of us recording a podcast. And we're just so bad at it. I just feel like it's because we're not like as animated as you. But she just like rolled out of bed. The lighting is like so
Yeah.
dark. I'm just like, what is this? What did you just send to me?
Well, whenever people are doing day in the lives and they're like sleeping and you watch them wake up and you're like, you woke up and set this up. I wanted to feel more organic. Like I really did just roll over, grab my phone.
But maybe that's why they don't do it organically.
I was trying to be authentic. It's 100% why I look so dumb. Like through my eye mask, I'm trying to be like, is the camera in the right place?
That's so funny. Oh my god.
All right, so it seems like you've read a bunch of different books for your TikTok account. Why did you choose to pick up The Hunger Games specifically?
I actually was never meaning to. I wouldn't have done it if one of my online friends, I casually told them that I had never read The Hunger Games, and she goes, "What? You've never read The Hunger Games?" And I had bought something from their online shop like a month ago. She scrounges to find my address off of where I bought
Aw.
something from her, goes online, sends
That's
it to
nice.
me, buys it for me, and goes, "You should be expecting a book in a week." And then she was like, "Oh my god, wait, I'm sorry, was that creepy? Sorry, I didn't mean that for that. I didn't mean to be creepy with that." And I was sitting there, I was losing it. I was like, that's so funny.
That's so nice. Also, a reaction I would have if one of my friends also didn't read it, I would be like, either take my book right now or I'll get it for you.
And it's so funny because I've been doing the exact same thing, like with the exact same book. I'm like, "Oh, you haven't read it? Let me hear. You can have so we can talk."
Yeah.
But so I was like looking at the Hunger Games book, and I was like, "What am I gonna do with this?" Because Hunger Games TikTok, it has been like, I mean, I haven't even read it, but like I participate in fandom, so
Mm-hmm.
to me, it's inevitable that I've like interacted with like some Hunger Games stuff. So I got the book, and I was like, I guess I could do like a read along kind of thing. Like I don't think that'll do well, but I mean, I'll just record like the first thing and we'll see how it goes. I was 100% waiting for that video to flop when I
Oh, it was your
posted
first
it,
video.
and I didn't. I don't know.
That's amazing.
So it did like really, really well. It got like 500,000 views. So I posted it and I was like, no. And every time I posted a new part, I was waiting for people to get tired of it. I was like, okay, this is gonna be the last one people want. This is gonna be the last one people want. This though, like this is gonna be the. And then when I went to like Catching Fire, no idea what I was getting into, but I was like, okay, like people aren't gonna like, no, it's gonna cap here. And then it didn't. And I was like, okay, well, no one's gonna want to watch 37 parts of Mockingjay. It's not possible.
No one wanted part 2 of Mockingjay, like the movie, but everyone wants like 37 parts of Fish reading Mockingjay.
That's hilarious.
What's so funny is like I'll read the comments and it'll be like, read Peeta's version in AO3. Are you going to? Because I've never read it and I desperately want you to read it so I can just watch your video.
See, I've been thinking about doing that, but it's just so weird to like do a fan fiction, instead of like the act, like, you know, like.
Yeah. I wonder if it's good or like what it's like. You know, maybe I'll start reading a little bit of it, and if I think it's good, I'll message you. Yeah.
Well, before we get into the book discussion, I mean, I just want to call you out because you would not buy the book and send it to your friends. For this episode, you bought the book.
I would.
No, you bought the book, and now you're saying you're going to return it to Amazon. So you're going to get a refund.
No, I can't, because you know what I realized when I was reading the book? I never really read physical books anymore. It's hard on your hand. And I have to like really bend the shit out of it. So it's unreturnable. I have bought this book.
To return.
It's mine forever. Yeah, I was going to. For other people, I would buy it. For myself, I'm like, I don't want to spend money on this.
Oh God. No, it's so funny because every time like I posted a video of like me reading the book, there'll be like multiple comments going like, the way you're treating your book, it's just blasphemous. And I'm like, get used to it, honey. We don't respect books over here.
Yeah, that's the only way you can hold it. I was getting so tired. Like every 10 minutes I would change how I was holding it. Yeah. And I was like, this is why I don't read physical books anymore. I also have so many like thumb problems from holding my phone. So just reading a physical book is not for me.
I actually enjoyed reading The Hunger Games as like a physical, like with like physical books.
Yeah.
It was much easier to get reactions because I didn't have to switch over to like whatever. Like I didn't have to switch from like my Kindle to like my thing. It was just much easier. Yeah. Also, I feel compelled to mention it's not like all my reactions are genuine, which is funny because I kept getting comments. Like I got like 3 or 4 comments about like, there's no way that you could have guessed that happens. You're like, I think you've like read it already and we're getting conned. And I thought that was so funny because like the stuff that I would be like guessing was that, oh, President Coin isn't a good person. Oh, I bet like President Coin is like a foil for Snow. And I think what's happening is people were 10 when they read the books. So they're shocked that I, as an adult, are picking up on it. And it's so funny because they're like, there's no way you knew that Coin was actually a super bad person. I'm like, babe, they have an army of child soldiers in 13.
Well, the whole reason why we wanted to do like the Throwback Book Club was to just reread a lot of these classics that we read as kids, but like have an adult perspective and see if like we pick up on anything different. And so like to even hear you say that, like kind of just like confirms our suspicion that like there are just a lot of nuances that just glosses over your wee little brain when you're like 10 and reading these books.
Mm-hmm. Well, because when you're 10, it's so funny. I know that we all hated Gale, right?
Hate's a strong word.
We'll get into it in a little bit, but I was actually Team Gale when I was a child, and I regret it.
We just lost our
Bye, guys.
They did say someone was going to burst through the door. We just didn't. They predicted it.
Yeah, it was just me.
All right, let's get into the book. For our audience who haven't read The Hunger Games, if you haven't, Fish will send you a book, or Emmy will send you a book.
Embarrassing.
Nice to meet you. I was the same.
Let me read for the audience just the overall synopsis that they wrote on Wikipedia. So The Hunger Games is a 2008 dystopian novel by the American writer Suzanne Collins. It is written in the perspective of 16-year-old Katniss Everdeen, who lives in the future post-apocalyptic nation of Panem in North America. The capital, a highly advanced metropolis, exercises political control over the rest of the nation. The Hunger Games is an annual event in which one boy and one girl aged 12 through 18 from each of the 12 districts surrounding the capital are selected by lottery to compete in a televised battle royale to the death. Wow, that was actually such a good synopsis. I could not have written that. For our first topic, let's discuss the concept of the Hunger Games itself. How do we feel about children fighting each other to the death?
Personally, I love it,
Imagine living in that society and watching it. Would we just watch it like we watch The Bachelor? Or we watch Vanderpump Rules?
District 1 and the capital are
so.
probably. For them, it's an actual, just televised show that we're treating it, but for all the lower districts, it's probably extremely traumatizing.
I guess it depends on where you are in the society, because depending on where you are in the society and what you're benefiting from the Hunger Games, your perspective is going to be different.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's bad, but I think Katniss talks about it. It's just how they were raised. If you're raised, everybody loves the Hunger Games. They love participating in it. They know why it needs to happen. I can get why. Personally, I could never value human life that low. But
yeah,
in a sick, twisted, fucked up way, I can get how I get how it gets there. And when I was reading the Hunger Games and I was really getting into it, the Hunger Games, personally, one of my favorite in the series. I think it's one of the best. I was reading it and I was like, oh no, am I a bad person? Because I'm getting really into this. I'm like, am I the capital? Am I the problem? And I'm like, no, they're not real. This doesn't count. They're not real. Which is why it's so funny that sometimes I'd see people on TikTok going if you want another Hunger Games book, you're basically the capital because you want to watch children die for your entertainment. And I'm like, actually, no. Actually, I think you're wrong about that.
We're trying to watch a think piece on what would happen if a society did that. Not that our society should.
I think you will probably reread or read the prequel. What is it called? A ballad of...
Oh, yeah. Birds.
Too long of a name.
Songbirds. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. But they go into the details of why they came up with the Hunger Games, and it kind of makes sense a little bit as a fictional piece. But even in the first Hunger Game book, in a few scenes, Katniss is really into playing the Hunger Games. She kind of expresses joy in being able to hunt down people and kill them, and I think it's part of human nature a little bit. She just gets a little bit of I'm ready.
When she's in the games.
Yeah, or there's a switch that kind of flips in her mind, and she's goes from being scared to huntress mode, and it's kind of eerie to just read that. I see why she voted yes for another Hunger Games.
Well, I don't think that she actually meant to vote yes. Well, because I think it was just to get President's coin off her trail. Because I think she knew what she was planning. Because her explanation for saying yes doesn't make sense either. I mean, Prim would not want her to say yes. So I don't think she actually wanted one. I think it was just a tactic that she uses. Because I mean, she's so smart. In the first books, I was reading, I was giggling, I was kicking my feet. I was like, she's so smart. This is so fun. I would one thing I didn't like about the movies, because I watched the first movie, I was like, they take away a lot of how smart and clever Katniss is in the movie. And it was so sad because I was like, but she's so she's got that dog in her.
She's so smart about everything except the boys. There, she
Yes.
just has no brain.
And I think why she's so like emotionally like underdeveloped is because of like her circumstances, and how she's
Yeah. Oh,
always in
for
like that
sure.
survival mode.
Hmm.
Personally, no amount of survival mode would ever make me consider Gale as an option, but I don't think that this is just me like it's not like aggressively disagreeing with you. I don't think that Katniss ever takes like pleasure or like joy in killing people, but I just think that like it's what she needs to do. I feel like the only joy she gets off of killing someone is when she kills someone to get back for the death of Rue.
I think
Mm,
that was like what I was remembering.
Because I don't think she's she's not a super violent person.
mm-mm.
Actually, what I love about Katniss is she always goes out of her way to pick the weakest allies. And I think it's
Yeah.
just because like she's an incredibly like nurturing person. Like with
Hmm.
Rue, Peeta a little bit. um
Yeah.
Not that Peeta is so smart. Like he's like absolutely like mind-blowingly smart. He's so good. What I love about Peeta and Katniss is that they complement each other so well. Like the way Katniss is smart and the way Katniss is dumb makes up for like is how like the way
The
Peeta is
opposite of
dumb
PETA.
and the way Peeta is smart.
We're already on this next topic, but Fish has already staked their claim on being Team PETA. I mean, why don't you make it known to the world what team you are on?
Yeah, I mean,
I'm embarrassed. Okay, as an adult, I'm on Team PETA. Okay, even the past like few times I've rewatched the movies, clearly I'm Team PETA. But for sure, my first read through, I was just a dumb little girl on Team Gale, and a lot of that has to do with how hot Liam Hemsworth is. A lot of that has to do with the fact that I'm just like he was there first, but and Pete is so boring, but obviously like he's not, and when you read it when you're a little bit more mature, value different things, you have to be Team Peta. There's no way.
well, no, I get it because like when you're 10, like you still have like line leader, Like I get it. Like he was there first. Okay, and Peeta gets to cut in line. That's ridiculous.
Exactly, I'm like he has been helping her this whole time. Okay, like he's the reason she's lived this long too.
Did you watch?
So
Can I ask? Did you watch the movie first, or did you watch the book first, or read the book first?
um I'm definitely read the book first.
Okay.
Me too.
But I can't quite remember like if I read all the books and then I saw that the movies were coming out or what. Like it's a little fuzzy in my mind like
Mhm.
when everything happened. So I don't know if it's like chicken and the egg, like did I see Liam Hemsworth and then read the books and then watch the movie, or even in the books I like really liked Gale more. Unclear. I mean, by the end, by Mockingjay, there's just no way you can like Gale. He's just
Exactly.
become such a horrible person.
Absolutely insufferable. Like I was reading the first book and I was like, "Okay, he's not that bad, guys. Like you're just like whatever." And
Exactly.
by the third one, I'm like, "Are you?" Like every new thing that like Gale said, I was like, "He can't get worse. He can't get worse. Oh my god, he can't get worse." And it's just like, oh god.
For the first book,
Yeah.
I was very Team PETA. Guys, I had PETA as my wallpaper on my first iPhone. Like, that's how obsessed I was with him. I remember like looking up how tall is Josh Hutcherson? Like, why would that ever be like relevant to me? I also like loved Jennifer Lawrence's gold premiere like dress that she wore. I specifically remember this because
Oh,
I was like shopping for prom dresses at the time, and I was like, I want that exact dress. And they made something very similar, and I would try to like go get it, but I like couldn't find it. But after rereading it, okay, narrowing it down just to the first book, I can see why Katniss is confused about her feelings towards Peeta and Gale. Like I can see why she like has Gale in the back of her mind. I mean, to your point, Fish, like she didn't have that emotional capacity to like even process those feelings. And like giving someone space to like even think through that is just probably like mind boggling. Like she didn't even have her first kiss yet. She doesn't even know what romance means. Also,
I
Peeta
know.
is so I forgot how smooth he is in the book. And like,
Oh yeah.
I mean, I love Josh Hutcherson, but like he did not do. I mean, there was like really no chemistry between I think Josh Hutcherson and Jennifer Lawrence in the movies.
I get that, and I feel like a lot of that is because Peeta's stuff was cut for time, I think. And like I was watching it and I was like, this is so ridiculous. So I really came out of the movie and I'm like, I get how like they really ramped up this love triangle in like the worst way. Cause like if you had like
Yeah.
the OG Peeta scenes in the movie, no contest, bro. Like no contest. Everyone would be Team Peeta.
You know what's so weird is like they were best friends and I think still are really close. So they do
Oh,
have the chemistry, I'm sure. They just didn't, I don't know, portray it well in the movie or like they didn't have the
Not a
right scenes
romantic
for it.
one.
Well, yeah, but like I don't know. You can't have that much like friend chemistry with someone and still not be able to like play into the romantic part if you're such a good actor.
well, I think part of the reason for the people who read the books first, there are like a lot of romantic moments between like Peeta and Katniss, but I feel like for us, like for like people who read it first, know that a certain amount of like what she's doing is for the games, but because
Yeah.
like she doesn't we don't have that narration from her, we're not sure like what is and what isn't for the games cuz in a way we're watching it like the Capitol's watching it, but like I feel like that might be why it feels like there's like not as much chemistry because we're not able to like we're not in her head, like we're not able to figure out like how she's feeling and like what is fake and what isn't.
Yeah. What I love about like the cave scene is she's clearly like enjoying the situation, but she's like, no, it's just for the games. It's just for
Yeah,
the
it's just
games.
for the
And
no.
that's so relatable.
What I love in the Hunger Games is how she has no object permanence with Gale. Like she's like Gale like has something to tell her and then she gets like shipped off to the Hunger Games and then she doesn't think about him at all until like she starts like being involved with like Peeta more genuinely and then she like thinks about Gale once or twice and then the rest of the time it's her thinking about Peeta and how she's going to help Peeta survive.
How do we feel about obviously like Haymitch? I don't know. Did he even come up with this idea? I love Haymitch as a character, but like, you know how at the very beginning of the Hunger Games, he was like, you guys have to be portrayed as a duo. Was this before he knew that Peeta was in love with her? Because I'm trying to like remember if like Peeta had pulled him aside or if he just came up with this concept like right off the bat.
Well,
But if he wasn't in love with her, how would the like duality of their pairing like work out in the games?
I know that Cinna, when he was debuting them, he was like the first one to like push that like they were like connected, like they were a team. What I think about Haymitch, I mean, like we learned this especially like in later books, like in Mockingjay, when we figure out no Catching Fire, when we figure out like how he won the Hunger Games. Haymitch is like super
So
smart
smart.
and like is super observational. I think that he clocked it. Like I think that he knew.
Agreed.
Especially with how like Peeta was acting like in the train. Because I remember when Haymitch like has this huff and Peeta's like, I'm gonna go talk to him. Like they talk a lot
Yeah.
alone, like on the train.
And on the train, it was really easy to clock how much they admired each other because
Yes.
whenever Katniss was like, I don't have any skills, Peeta's like, no, you have all of these
That
skills.
was cute.
Yes.
And so to an adult, you would be like, okay, this boy
Oh,
has a
yeah.
crush on I mean, I don't think Peeta tells Haymitch until later, or they don't make it seem like he tells Haymitch until like prepping for probably the interview or something.
Yes, I love that part in the book. I was like giggling. I was kicking my feet. And I was like, like, they're in love. They don't know it, but they're in love. Because I mean, that's so idiots to lovers of them. They're like, I love that trope of like, I actually know so much about you, but it's because I hate you. Like, I hate you, and that's how I know you won the wrestling. You almost won the wrestling competition second to only your brother. Like, I hate you so much. That's how I know that you can like throw 100 like sacks of flour. Like, I hate you. That's how I know you double knot your shoes. Like it's
And it's such
my hatred for you.
It's such like a little or kid teenager thing. Like I feel like as adults, that's not how we
Yes.
express that we like someone, but as kids, it's like the only way you know that someone likes you if they're like extra mean to you.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
for the interview thing, they come up with that plan when Peeta is being prepped by Haymitch. Which, by the way, is a scene that I'm so sad they cut for the movies. Like, I was really sad when I watched the movies. I was like, all the good parts.
Do we think Katniss would have survived the Hunger Games without Peeta?
Yeah.
I feel like she would, but I feel like she also needed something to like keep her going, to like motivate
Yeah.
her through the loss of humanity. Cause she talks about like how murdering like all these people, like it takes a toll on you, obviously. I'm so doctor mode
It's
right
a
now.
gruesome
But I feel
topic.
like even with Prim, like outside the arena, I like she needs like those like people to like push her through to like keep her going. Cuz I feel like I mean Rue helped her so much. And
Mm-hmm.
you know, like so did Peeta. I just think that, you know, Peeta did so much for her with the alliance thing with the careers.
Yeah. And I think post Rue's death, she would have had an extremely hard time if she was alone, and then
Mhm.
maybe would have like not been as sharp
Mhm.
because she was just so sad. Like would
Yep.
have kind of phoned it in.
I think like Katniss's strengths comes from like her empathy for others. Like she's so driven by helping
Mhm.
others that it helps her like fixate on like what she needs to do next. Take out some of the careers because she needs to like get that medicine for Peeta,
Mm.
or get back to
Mm.
win the game
Mm-hmm.
so she can get back to helping her family survive. Like I feel like she's so motivated by all these external factors of others, and I'm like interested to see if like she was more self-motivated, if she would actually be as successful in the games.
Mm.
Yeah.
I don't know if she would have been as likable without Peeta. So I don't know
Mhm.
if she would have gotten
Oh, for
those
sure.
sponsors that she needed to. But I don't
Yeah.
know. I think that she would have though. But it would have been more difficult for her.
The end whenever Peeta finds out that it was all for the games
So
is like
hard.
so gut-wrenchingly sad. Like, oh my
Oh yeah.
god. I would just be like, I'm done. I'd kill myself. Like, we can't do this anymore.
And no, that's the exact reaction I had. I was like, what would you do if you like the person you love like since you were 5? Like all of it was a survival tactic. And my friend was like sitting next to me and he was like, I'd kill myself.
I would go into such a deep depression of just being like, what is real in life?
Yeah, but it's so funny because he knows that it's like for the games, but like he also doesn't. But he knows, but he doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
Which is so crazy. They took that out of the movies. They didn't have that in the
Yeah.
movies. And they
Wait, which part did they not have in the movies? I haven't seen the movie in so long.
most of the end part of the book isn't in the movies. Like they don't have. First of all, my
Mm.
favorite part in the book is when Katniss and Pete are arguing over who's gonna like get to like win, and he's like, "Do it," and she's like, "No," and he's like, "Do it, like you have to do it." And she's like, "All right, you do it. You take me, you shoot me, and you go home and you live with it." And I, like flabbergasted. I read that. I was like, I don't get like how you read that and you're not like team like her and Peeta because she's never like that with Gale.
Yeah.
I think when she shows how
Just
selfless
saying.
she is, like that moment is when I knew she like truly really cared about him, because she wanted him to
Hmm.
survive over herself. Or she's a little hungry and tired and just wants to die.
She's over it.
She's
She's
like,
clocking
yeah,
out.
one way or the other, ooh, this has got to end.
And when he's like taken up by like the helicopter drone thing, and she's like banging against the glass, she's like, "No, that's my man!" Bang, 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 bang. They took that out of the books too. Man, all of the good parts.
It's like so wild that she knows that she's having these reactions, but then still later is like, no, it's still for the
Nah.
games. I think it's for the games. Like, I'm gonna ignore that, like, I cared so deeply.
I'm gonna ignore the fact that I'm a terrible actor. No, like it was just like it was method acting. It was for the
Well, I think it
games.
took so long. I mean, to your point, Fish, about how she has been in survival mode her entire life and hasn't been able to have like that
Hmm.
emotional capacity to think about love or romance. The same happens even after her winning the games. Like,
For sure.
I think they have
Oh
this line
yeah.
where they say, like, now the real games begin, or something kind of cliche like that. But it's true. Like she's always in survival mode. And so I feel like that's what took her so long to process her true feelings, even though all of us in the back were like, she likes him. She likes him. In her mind, she's like, I gotta not get killed before I can even like this guy back.
Yeah, and also like she never has the time to like process it. Like she never has that luxury of like being able to sit down with herself and going like, "All right. Gale or Peeta. Like, it's never like she doesn't have that luxury.
Even if she had the time, I don't know that she would like ever even be able to start that thought
Yeah.
process based on how things have been
And
going.
like she got like what, a couple months in Catching Fire,
Yeah.
and then she was like thrown right back into it. So, girly, I get you.
Yeah.
In Catching Fire, like she didn't even think that it was important anymore because like Peeta wasn't talking to her. She didn't know how to talk to Peeta. So, by the way, I loved Peeta in Catching Fire. He was so
Catching
funny.
Fire,
Catching
my
Fire is my
favorite.
favorite
Yeah.
book.
I remember, so I was in tennis in high school when I read the books, and I remember faking cramps just so I can go back home and reread Catching Fire. Like I have
That's
this
amazing.
specific memory.
I love that. I love Catching Fire so much. You know when they go home after the games and then they have to watch a highlight reel
Yeah.
of the games together, like on TV? I forgot that happened, and it just made me feel so
Sick.
ill. Like that's like you're in The Bachelor, like after the final rose, like watching back your like last episode where you break up with one person and then like have to propose. They had to watch back killing people. They had to watch back their friends dying
And
and like
Rue.
be smiling because they're watching it on camera. Yes, like oh, that's so sick.
I know, like I had the same reaction. I was like, they're gonna make them watch, and like it's not even like it hasn't even been a day. It's like right when you like wake up. Like,
Yeah.
you're...
Oh god. And it's like, okay, one thing if you were just watching like, I don't know, maybe their story, but maybe not like all of the kills and stuff. But having to watch a 3-hour condensed version of the worst 2 weeks of their lives, God. And having
Yeah.
that be like in permanence in a video. That's terrifying.
We find out later that all of the Hunger Games are recorded. Like they're like put in like a little archive.
You can
And
watch it back.
Yeah, because they watch it in Catching Fire, but I'm like, damn, like that's crazy. In the end of the Hunger Games, she's like miraculously cured when she like goes out to like greet everyone. Which when I read it,
Mhm.
Hamish was like, I had to fight for you not to get like breast implants. Which when I read that, I was like, oh, I get it. It's to like, well, because you're so connected to the victor, right? Like you have this emotional bond if you're in the Capitol.
Mhm.
That her like going out and like having all this new skin and like being all like not scarred, I thought that it was to erase the brutality of the Hunger Games. Like, like there's no actual like real world consequences. Like, look, they're so healed, they're so perfect. And when I read Catching Fire, I figured out that while it's, yes, also that, it's also because of some other stuff that I don't know if I'm allowed to say on here.
Phoenix story.
Yeah. Which when I read it, I thought that he had to fight against breast implants because she had lost so much weight. Because when you lose weight, you lose weight in your like boobs
Yeah.
too. But I was like, when I called Finnick a man whore in one of my videos, I was like, he's such a man whore. And then all of the fucking comments were like, you're gonna regret saying that. You're gonna regret. You're gonna regret. You're gonna regret. And I'm like, guys, I can figure it out. Like, I know, like so crazy when all of you are saying that I'm going to regret calling him a man whore. I can use context clues
Yeah.
and figure out what you're trying to say to me. So I was sad that I
It
didn't
got
get
ruined
to...
for you.
Yeah, a little bit. Like, even though like I sort of knew it was happening, I was shocked that she said it like that.
Yeah.
It took me a really long time to process that like she followed through with that plot point of like Finnick, which was crazy.
It's crazy that
Yeah.
Suzanne Collins just came up with all of that in her head. Like, is she okay? Like, to be able to come up with all these like brutal ways of how society can control their like people, just mind-boggling.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I posted like a video of like it was like a compilation of like every time I say the phrase in the books while watching the first movie, because I'm insufferable. Actually, fun fact. But a lot of people were like, the Hunger Games should not have been PG-13. Like, it ruined it. Like, it should not have been PG-13. And I'm like, y'all, the books are for a younger audience. I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. What do you mean it shouldn't have been PG-13? That's not the issue.
Yeah, wait, we're like meaning it should have been like rated R?
I guess.
I think PG-13 is actually...
Even if it would have been rated R, like they still would have messed up the book to the movie transition. They still would have cut the same things, you know? I don't think
Yeah.
like a different rating is going to fix the things that they cut out. It would have just
Yeah.
made the killing scarier, and no one wants to see that. Like, I'm glad it was PG-13.
No, like there's this moment of like she's like watching something from like an old Hunger Games in Catching Fire or something, like someone takes like it was the snow video where like someone like almost bashes someone's head and like with a brick, and I cover my eyes and I go, tell me when it's over. And my friend Oliver was like, it's over, literally nothing happened, because they pause it right before, and I'm like, okay.
No one cares to see that stuff. Like, keep it
Yeah.
PG-13.
That's not what makes the brutality of the Hunger Games is not what makes the Hunger Games good.
Yeah, for sure.
It's Katniss. Well, what I think it makes it so compelling is like Katniss's empathy and like the empathy she has for people, like even in this situation, and also how smart she is, which is why I was so like I get why they had the little notes that came with the packages in the movie. Because I mean, it would be so much harder to establish like what Haymitch is trying to say, especially when you're not in her head. But I'm like,
Yeah.
why are they playing on easy mode? Like what? Like you?
I wonder if they could have done the movies better to like be able to get her narration. Would we have just been annoyed if we were hearing her thoughts throughout the movie, or would we have liked it more? You know?
I don't know.
I feel like it's really like anytime you do a movie adaptation of a book, someone's going to be upset. Like there's just no
You always have this problem.
way to.
Yeah.
I mean, on Book Talk, people are just like, why are you able to like read rather than just watch movies? And everyone's like, it's a movie in your head. It's a movie in your head. Like you just get so many different perspectives in your head rather than visually.
Yeah.
All right, Fish. So you read all 3 Hunger Games books. What is next for you?
So what's next is I'm gonna watch the rest of the movies. I'm gonna react to those, and then I'm gonna read the prequel.
Okay.
And then after that, I'm gonna make people vote on what book series they want to see me read next.
Ooh.
Do you guys want to hear the list?
Yeah. Tell us the list.
Okay. So right now there are a bunch of like early like 2000 like 10ish books that I never read.
Okay.
Just because that wasn't the kind of stuff that I read when I was younger, which is weird. But I mean, like I didn't read Percy Jackson until like freshman year of high school. Like
I don't actually know if I've ever read Percy Jackson. I know, maybe I should read them.
Well, I mean, you know what you have to do. You have the guideline.
Okay, read us your list. I'm so excited.
Okay, so my list is reading ACOTAR.
Ooh, I'm on that right now.
Divergent, Twilight, a Hank Green book, or Harry Potter.
You've never read Harry Potter?
I know.
What? It has to be Harry Potter. It has to be Harry Potter. Or Twilight.
What?
Those, because it's just like such a cultural phenomenon, right? And that's why I think it needs to be one of those. Oh man, that's such a good list. I mean, you have to read all of them at some point.
I know. That's why I'm like stacked for the summer.
Yeah.
Like I got shit to do.
I feel like my vote is Harry Potter. I also feel like you should maybe narrow down the list to maybe 4. I feel like people get like choice paralysis where they're like,
oh yeah,
too many choices.
Yeah.
That's just like the list I'm giving you guys. But like all the stuff like I haven't read.
I think Divergent would be such a flop after you read The Hunger Games.
Oh,
and I think that you would be not upset that you were reading it, but you would just be like so about it.
Yeah. I would go into one of those moods, like, you know, when you're reading something and you're not good and it's not good and you just like start like skipping like pages, you're like, all right, like take me to a good part. Like I'm so tired.
Yeah. It'll become a chore. And I think if you read one of the other ones, you'll enjoy it more and you'll like continue to enjoy like reading it and making the videos.
All right. So as our guests, we have some rapid fire questions for you. Hunger Games related. Okay. Would you rather die by poison berry or trip on a rock and break your neck?
Okay. I feel like poison berry. I mean, they're both horrific. I guess if I break my neck, I'll just eat the poison berries because that feels like more instantaneous to me. Also, like, do I know that I'm eating poison berries?
No.
Okay, then yeah, the poison berries.
Okay, would you rather battle it out at the cornucopia or run for cover in the woods with no weapons?
Run for cover in the woods with no weapons, definitely. Because I feel like once, like, what? Listen, I don't know if you can tell. I'm not very like I couldn't duke it out, man. Like you there are very little times in my life where I have to think, get them away from me. I'm going to start swinging. Like I'm just like, that's not me. So and I feel like also like if you go about it like tactic wise, you could probably like go around like near the cornucopia like later and just like or like just like pick off like some stuff that people have left behind.
Yeah, I could never go to the cornucopia. First, I'd be scared shitless. I
Oh
would
yeah.
immediately run away and just hope I could survive, like just hiding.
It was so funny in the books where she's like, I'm gonna go to for the cornucopia, and Peter's like,
Yeah.
cut it, cut it, cut it, cut it.
Peeta knows her so well.
Yeah.
So well.
So well to know that like she's going to want to do that and to be like, dude, you cannot. Like, stop.
And then she blames him.
I know. She's like, damn, Peeta,
Peeta.
distracting me.
Yeah, because no matter like if you're a good killer or whatever, like she could be good with the bow and arrow. Like in the cornucopia, it's a shit show. Like it is luck.
Oh yeah.
It is luck and alliances, and she had no alliances, so that would have been a death sentence.
And the highest danger score.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Would you rather be a tribute in the Hunger Games, which all the other tributes are your friends, or would you be in the Hunger Games as a 12-year-old and everyone else is 17?
Oh God.
How did we come up with this? I mean, you're sick in the head. You came up with this.
Am I like 12, like my 12-year-old self, or can I just be like,
You're
friends? I'd have to go friends. Sorry, like I have to go friends. Like you don't get it. When I was 12 years old, oh God, keep this on the down low. I haven't even made a TikTok post about this yet. When I was 12 years old, I was a twig. You could snap me in half. If I want, and I used to dye my hair when I was 12, but only, first of all, my hair used to look like this.
Oh, yes. Insane side part. That's the way.
And this, like all of this used to be dyed a different color.
Ooh.
So it was like blue, or like at times it was like rainbow.
Oh, that's fun.
It's a choice. It was a choice for sure. But like if I have any hope of like surviving, sorry, like I gotta duke it out with y'all.
Oh my God. I would choose being 12 because going into the Hunger Games, I know I would be dead. So I'm just like, I would rather my friends survive because I'm not even trying to fight. I'm trying to hide and then die. Actually, maybe like I would try to die quickly because I don't think I would survive. So it's like, let's just get this over.
I would 100% survive.
Kill me now, nicely.
But I don't think you're allowed to do that. Like if you can't just like intentionally kill yourself in the Hunger Games. Cause
yeah, I don't think that's allowed. I would do it in a way where it's like, I'm just being dumb. Like I'm just making silly mistakes.
Silly me. Just like I guess just run for the cornucopia then.
Yeah, that's true. My fight or flight instinct would make me run away. But then I would just be like, how do I find someone so they can
No, the easiest way to die in the Hunger Games is to get blown up by leaving the like play early. Remember, they have it rigged.
But that's like, but they'll know.
Like, just like accidentally sneeze.
Oh, you're so right. Yeah, I would just have jumped before the 60 seconds were over.
But doesn't that count as like intentionally like offing yourself?
It's not like they can bring you back to life to throw you back in the game.
No, but can't they take it out on your family?
Oh yeah, god dang. They're so mean.
I know they're killing kids, but they won't let me kill myself. That's so ugh.
Catch-22.
I would hopefully know what poison berries looked like, or if I didn't, I would go to every berry tree and just try to eat berries and be like, which one's gonna kill me?
Just imagine you just like staying alive because you've just been feeding yourself berries the entire time.
Every time I eat one, I'm like, god damn it.
All right, last question.
No, but if I
Man.
was 12, and
Mhm.
like doing the Hunger Games, I would think that like everyone, I was like, I'm probably getting so many sponsors right now, like not like other girls. Like, like that. There's this trend going around right now, and it's like 5-year-old me, like in my like Dora swimsuit, thinking that the lifeguard is finding me so attractive right now. Like that would be me when I was 12.
Fish, do you think you will survive the Hunger Games?
Oh, absolutely not. No, no fucking way. Let me think. No. I mean, oh, it depends. Where am I being placed in the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8? What district am I?
Like which district?
Yeah.
Oh,
Pick a district that's not like a career district.
Okay. Because I feel like if I lived within the world of the Hunger Games, I'd be like better built.
Mm.
Like if you plugged me up right now and threw me in the Hunger Games, the answer is hell fucking no. I would not survive the Hunger Games. But if I was in the Hunger Games universe and I got selected, I feel like maybe, well, I wouldn't win, but I'd get farther than, cuz like I'm picturing myself in a Hunger Games AU. I feel like I'd be better built. I'd be better equipped. So, no, but I'd get farther if I was like actually in the universe.
okay. Do you think you would win?
Oh yeah, 100%. Just pure like I think I just something in me just like I feel like I had that drive. If I had to, I would win. I don't know. I wouldn't kill myself. I would try.
Oh yeah, I would try.
All right, for our Throwback Book Club, we always give each book that we read a rating. I'll go first and we'll say fish for last. Okay. I give Hunger Games
Okay.
Okay.
a 9. Just the first book. Just the first book. I feel like Suzanne Collins did a really great job setting the scene. I mean, explaining something like the Hunger Games and Panem is really complicated and difficult. I think she does a really good job at setting the scene and creating the plot. I mean, there's everything a little 10-year-old me would want. Love triangles, killing. I don't know how that got in there, but it did.
Yeah, murder.
Fashion. And it's something that I enjoy.
Yeah, an oppressive society.
Starvation.
Yeah, the list goes on.
But I mean, as an adult, I still enjoyed reading it. Like it's something that aged really well. I would give my kid
So well.
maybe when they're a little bit older, but I give it 9 out of 10. Okay, Ami, your turn.
Okay, yeah, I agree. I'm a Hunger Games fanatic, especially lately. So I would do like 9.5.
Well, trying to one up me.
Well, it's like, what's a 10? I don't even know what in my head I would
I
say
think
is a 10.
Catching Fire.
So it's hard. Oh, yes, you're right. Catching Fire. Okay, yeah. I would say 9.5 because I think Catching Fire is 10 out of 10.
So, in my opinion, I think that The Hunger Games is the best written book in the series. Like, it's the one that has the best flow. It was the one where I felt like the most invested throughout. Like, I liked Catching Fire, I liked Mockingjay, but there were parts where I was like, what is going on right now? Like, can we get to something? Like, what is happening?
Especially Mockingjay.
Oh yeah. So I would rate The Hunger Games just for the pacing, just for like the characters, a 9.6 since we're one up in each other.
Wow. Well, there you have it. The official rating, certified by Clown Vibes. Hunger Games gets awarded 9.6 out of 10, certified by the sequel nobody wanted.
Thank you so much for joining us. I hope you've had a great time. We
Of course.
definitely have. I'm speaking for both of us.
This is fun.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
Where can our listeners follow you on social media?
Oh, well, you can find me on TikTok at the.sequel.nobody.wanted. And if you want to find me on Instagram, you can find me at the sequel nobody wanted, no dots. And if you want to find me on YouTube, just type in the sequel or literally go to any of my bios and just click that little funny link and it'll take you wherever.
Thanks so much for listening. You can follow us on all social media at Clown Vibes Podcast or email us at clownvibespodcast@gmail.com.
And if you like our show and want to support us, please like, subscribe, and give us a rating and review. That's it for today. Bye,
Bye,
clowns.
clowns.